Hey everybody, what's up? It's Clay, and today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my DVD and Blu-ray collection video. My updated version for 2021. So this is my second big case like this. This one obviously doesn't hold 400 like the 400 something like the first one that I showed did. It does hold about 200 to 250, somewhere in that range. So let's get into this one. This is case 2, well, case 1 of part 2 of my DVD and Blu-ray collection video. This will probably be the only one I do in this part. So this picks up right where case number 1 left off. We ended in the D's. So this will pick up right there and keep going in alphabetical order. If you haven't seen the first one, go check it out, and then come back and watch this, or watch it after this, whatever you want to do. So the first one I have here is Darkest Hour. It stars Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, and he actually won an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in The Darkest Hour. So I haven't seen it, but I do want to check it out because I really like Gary Oldman, and I heard the movie was pretty good, so I picked it up. Next is The Da Vinci Code, a really good movie. I have seen that one. Check it out if you haven't seen it, because it's really good. Next is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Probably my favorite of the new trilogy of Planet of the Apes movies. I liked all three of them, but I think Dawn was my favorite. I don't know why. I just really enjoyed it. They're all good though. If you've ever been a fan of Planet of the Apes, check these out because they are good movies, especially these three new ones. But I really like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's my favorite. You have Rise, obviously, was the first one, and then War for the Planet of the Apes was the last one. Dawn was my favorite, and definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. The Day After Tomorrow, another really good movie. Basically, it's like an end of the world disaster film, and it has Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it's a really really good movie about like the end of the world and how the scientists are trying to prove that it's the end of the world, and then by the time they can, it's too late, and all this kind of stuff. So, really good movie there. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it, because it is really cool. And when I bought this, it came with the Deadpool slipcover, because it is a Fox movie. So that was kind of neat. Next is The Dead Don't Die. The Dead Don't Die is basically like a zombie movie. It's got a lot of big named actors in it, and I haven't seen it, but I pretty much just picked it up for cheap because it had a lot of good actors in it. Next is Deadpool, one of my favorite movies. It is hilarious, and Ryan Reynolds does a great job playing Deadpool. So, check it out if you haven't seen it. Really funny. I mean, it is rated R, I believe, because there is a lot of, R-rated references in it. But the fact that he, like, breaks the fourth wall and knows that he's in a movie is what makes it funny. So, really great movie there. And that, too, came with a Deadpool slipcover. Yes, because it's Deadpool. Next is The Death of Superman. This was an animated movie, which I haven't actually watched the full thing of. I started watching it, and I just never got around to finishing it. But it's an animated Superman thing. I don't know how it ends. So, but it wasn't bad for what I was watching it. Next is Death Wish, starring Bruce Willis, and it's a really really good movie. All these movies, these action movies, people always try and mess with somebody, who does something, and I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis plays a doctor in this one, and stuff happens, and somebody ends up like breaking into his house and attacking his wife and daughter, and so he goes on like a rampage. And it's a good movie. I think there was an original version of Death Wish way back when, but that's the Bruce Willis version right there, and it's a really good movie. And sorry for the reflection of the camera on this. Next is the Deep Blue Sea collection. So I have Deep Blue Sea, Deep Blue Sea 2, they came together, and then Deep Blue Sea 2 again, because I bought this one before I bought the set, so I guess I could, I don't really need that one. I haven't seen any of these, but they're shark movies, so that's why I bought them. And then, of course, Deep Blue Sea 3, which just recently came out, like last year or 2 years ago, something like that, and I haven't seen that one either. This next one I have seen. This is Deepwater Horizon, starring Mark Wahlberg. Really good movie. It's based off of a true story of an oil rig that, I guess, like exploded or something in the middle of the ocean, and a lot of the people that were on it died, and it sent an oil spill throughout the ocean in the area that it was at. So it's based on a true story, and I really enjoyed the movie. I really liked some of these ones that Mark Wahlberg did where they were based off of true stories like that. Next is the Delta Force. Another copy of the Delta Force, because I had another copy in the Chuck Norris collection that was in part 1 of this DVD collection video. So I have another copy of that. So I'm not really going to talk more about it because I already mentioned it in the previous one. Next is Descendants. Really good Disney movie about the kids of classic villains from Disney. So you had the daughter of Maleficent, the son of Cruella de Vil, the son of Jafar, and the daughter of the evil queen from Snow White. So really good movie. I haven't seen the 2 or 3, but I really like the first one. Next is Despicable Me. Really fun movie by Illumination or Universal or something like that. I think it's Illumination. Really good movie. Steve Carell does the voice of the main character, and it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Detective Pikachu I have not seen, but I've heard good things, so I probably will watch it at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Next is Diamonds Are Forever. This is a James Bond film. Like I said in the previous one, because I think I showed Casino Royale in the previous video, I have not seen any James Bond movies, so I don't know which ones are good. I don't know which ones are bad, and I don't know which actor is in this one, but I do want to check these out because, it's James Bond. Next up is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Don't ask. It was cheap, and I kind of enjoyed the movie, so yeah. Next is the Die Hard collection. So we have Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, and A Good Day to Die Hard. I've seen bits of the first one. I have not seen the other ones, so I will have to get around to watching those. But I haven't fully seen any Die Hard movie. Next up, this is a TV series, I guess, starring Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, and he was in The Patriot and some other stuff. It's called Dig, and this is season 1. I got this at Dollar Tree, and I guess they basically go searching for treasure or something. It was at Dollar Tree, so I picked it up, but I haven't watched it yet. Next is the Dirty Harry 2 film collection. So we have Dirty Harry and Magnum Force, both Clint Eastwood. 2 more movies that I have not seen that I really need to get around to watching because they are classics. And they're Clint Eastwood, so that's a plus. Next is Discover Planet Ocean. This is basically a documentary on the oceans. It's not as good as the Blue Planet documentary that I showed in the last video. That's from the BBC. This is just I mean, it's still interesting because it still talks about the ocean, but it's not as in depth and stuff. I didn't really like it as much, but I kept it because it is a documentary talking about the ocean. So that's Discover Planet Ocean, and then it came with this one, Mysteries of the Deep, which is why these are up here and not in the M's, because it came with Discover Planet Ocean. But this is the same type of thing. It's a documentary on like things found like deep within the ocean. So it was kind of neat, but wasn't really like my kind of, I didn't enjoy it as much as other documentaries I've watched. This next one is Distorted. It seemed interesting when I picked it up, and I believe John Cusack's in it. So I picked it up because it seemed interesting, but I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Next is District 9, another one that I've heard mixed reviews on, so I'll have to check it out at some point. Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. This movie was weird, but I kind of liked it. So basically his, I won't spoil it, but it basically Shia LaBeouf sees things that he's not supposed to see, and stuff starts happening, so I'll just say that much. Next is the Divergent series. So we have Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. I have watched Divergent. I have not seen the other two. I didn't mind Divergent, but I heard they're kind of like crappy movies. But if you watched part 1 of this collection video, I showed another copy of Allegiant, which I had before I got the set, and I said I'd show the set later on. So that's the Divergent trilogy, and I've only seen the first one. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this trilogy or not. Next is Django Unchained, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and I've heard good things about it. Again, haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but I do want to check it out because I've heard good things about it. Do You Believe is a Christian movie from Pure Flix, and it's basically trying to get people to believe in God and Jesus, and showing that like anybody can be saved at any time. So really good movie there. If you're into those kinds of movies, definitely check that one out. Next is Dr. Sleep, based on the book, obviously, by Stephen King. It is the sequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor's in it. Rebecca Ferguson's in it. Really good movie. It's been forever since I've seen The Shining, so I probably should have rewatched it before I watched that, but it was still, for having not seen The Shining in a while, I still understood what was going on, because it takes place years later. Like, Danny Torrance is grown up now, and that's where Ewan McGregor, he plays a grown-up version of Danny Torrance, which was the little boy from The Shining. So if you haven't seen The Shining, you should probably check it out before you watch Dr. Sleep. But I really enjoyed Dr. Sleep. A really, really well movie there. Doctor Strange, MCU movie that I wasn't too big on at first, and then I rewatched it. I was like, okay, it's not as bad as I remember, but it's still not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite by far. It's still a good movie, and definitely check it out if you're into MCU stuff. Next is one that people hate on, and it came out at the beginning of last year. It was like one of the only movies that I actually saw in theaters in 2020, before the pandemic and everything else. And this is Doolittle, and it stars Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doolittle and many other characters actors playing the voices of different characters. Tom Holland's in it. Selena Gomez is in it. There's Jim Broadbent's in it. So Antonio Banderas. So there's a lot of big actors in this movie, and I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people hated it, but it was just one of those movies that I had fun with, and I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, but I really enjoyed Doolittle. Um, Next is Dolphin Tale. And basically, this dolphin ends up having an accident where he loses his tail, and these kids at the aquarium have to build him a prosthetic tail so he can survive. And that's basically the premise of the movie. It's a good movie. So it's definitely a kids movie. So definitely check it out. Don't Breathe. This was a great movie, and I'm pretty sure they're making a sequel to it. Um, if you haven't seen it, check it out because Stephen Lang does a great job in this movie playing the blind ex-army soldier, whatever rank he was in the military. And these kids try and rob him because he's blind, and they find out that just because you're blind doesn't mean you're stupid and can't fight because he is ex-army. So really good movie there. Definitely check that one out. It is kind of like a horror movie and it's rated R, so definitely check that out if you're into that kind of stuff. This is Doom, starring Dwayne Johnson. I've seen it a while ago. I haven't rewatched it since I bought it on DVD, but I do remember not minding it. It's not my favorite rock movie, but you know. Next is the two Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Obviously the animated one, and then the 2001 film, I believe, starring Jim Carrey as the Grinch. I like both of them. They bring, Jim Carrey brings his own personal thing to the movie, and his own, makes the character his own. So it's really good. They're both great classic Christmas movies, and I showed another copy of this in my classic Christmas movies collection that was in part one of this, so I do have another copy of it, but both of those are great. This one's only like 90 minutes or something. This one's about 2.5 hours, so if you like, if you haven't seen this one, at least the animated one, I don't know how, because it's on TV like every year for Christmas, but they're both really great movies, so definitely watch those around Christmas time. Next up is seasons 1 and 2 of Dragon Ball Z. When I was a kid, this was like the show that I watched, and I really got into it, but I never got like any of the figures or any of that stuff. I just kind of liked the show. And so I found seasons 1 and 2 on DVD, so I picked those up. I haven't rewatched them yet since I bought them, but I do kind of want to rewatch them just to relive, what I was into back then. But that's seasons 1 and 2 of Dragon Ball Z. The next movie, or movies, I guess I should say, because this is a set, is the Dragonheart set, which I'm pretty sure, isn't there a book? I'm pretty sure there's a book called Dragonheart or something along those lines. But this is I think 5 or 6 movie collection. So we have Dragonheart, A New Beginning, Dragonheart, The Sorcerer's Curse, Dragonheart 3, The Sorcerer's Curse, Dragonheart, Battle for the Heartfire, and then Dragonheart Vengeance. And I have 2 copies of Dragonheart Vengeance because I bought that one first because I didn't know it was part of a set. I haven't seen any of them, and then I found the set, so I just picked up the whole set. But I haven't seen any of them. I'll probably watch them just to check them out, but I haven't yet. So next is Dreamcatcher, based on a Stephen King book. I found it at Dollar General, and it seemed interesting, and it was Stephen King, so I picked it up. Haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. Let me know if you've seen that, because I am into Stephen King's stuff. Next up is my DreamWorks collection, or the DreamWorks 4 movie collection. So we have Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, The Road to El Dorado. We have Puss in Boots and Sinbad. I haven't seen I haven't seen any of those, but they are ones that I've been wanting to pick up for part of my DreamWorks collection. And so when I found the set that had four of them, I figured pick it up because I am trying to get all the DreamWorks movies and all the Disney movies. So, uh, I picked that set up. I haven't seen any of them. I'll probably watch them at some point, but who knows. Next is Dumbo, the classic Disney movie. This is not the new live action one. This is the original animated version. Dunkirk is next. I believe Christopher Nolan won an Oscar or was nominated for an Oscar for directing this film. And it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it won, but I know it was nominated the year it came out. I've heard good things about it, and because it was nominated for Best Picture, I picked it up to check it out. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Let me know if you've seen this and what you thought of it. Next is Dynasties. This is a documentary on 5 animal dynasties from, I think, in Africa. It's narrated by David Attenborough, and I'm into these, documentaries on animals from the BBC Earth. So I picked that one up, and I did start watching it. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a really good documentary. So if you're into those like nature type documentaries, definitely pick that one up. Next is Earth to Echo, which I really enjoyed the first time I watched it. I haven't seen it since, so I don't really remember it, but I do remember liking it. Edge of Darkness, a Mel Gibson film. I haven't seen it. I just picked it up because it was at Dollar Tree and it has Mel Gibson in it. So if you've seen that, let me know. Here's one that I really want to watch, but haven't gotten around to watching it yet, and that's The Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, whatever you want to call it. It has, it is a great movie, and I've heard great things. I haven't seen it, and I really want to. I've heard it was great, and I know a lot of people say this is, one of their favorite movies. So I definitely want to see it. Where basically they have to relive the same day over and over again. So I do want to check it out, and I probably will at some point. But I need to get around to watching that. Edward Scissorhands, classic Johnny Depp. I haven't seen that either. Next is probably one of my favorite Christmas movies, Elf, starring Will Ferrell. It is really hilarious. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. It is a funny Christmas movie where Will Ferrell plays Buddy the Elf, who's a human raised by elves. It doesn't get any funnier than that. Next is Elysium. I haven't seen it. Heard good things. Picked it up for cheap, so I'll have to get around to watching that. The Emoji Movie, another one I haven't seen, and it was cheap, so I grabbed it. Next is a 2-movie set. This is the Emperor's New Groove, and then Kronk's New Groove, and a Blu-ray of both of those. I've seen Emperor's New Groove. I really like Emperor's New Groove. Have not seen Kronk's New Groove. Don't know if I ever will, but they're Disney movies, so I grabbed them. But Emperor's New Groove is really good. So check that one out if you're into Disney movies. Entourage, the movie. Haven't seen it. Grabbed it at Dollar Tree. Next is a 2-movie collection starring Denzel Washington. It is The Equalizer and The Equalizer 2. Saw the first one. Really liked the first one. Need to watch the second one because I really like the first one. Definitely a good action movie from Denzel Washington. So if you like his movies, check those out. The first one was really good. I haven't seen the second one yet. Aragon, I read the book and I saw the movie. It wasn't. People hate on it, which is understandable. Do I think it's the worst movie ever made? No. Do I think it's the best movie ever made? No. Do I think it's an okay movie? Yes. Do I think it followed the book to a certain extent? Sure. but I would be okay with a remake of Aragon if Fox or Disney now wants to remake it, because Fox made it in the first place. So if somebody wants to remake this movie, I wouldn't be against it. But this one wasn't good, but it wasn't horrible either. Next are the Escape Plan movies. So we have Escape Plan and Escape Plan 2, which came together, and then, of course, Escape Plan 3, The Extractors. I've seen all three of them. I love all three of them. They're great movies. Basically, these people purposely go to a prison to test if the prison can be broken out of. That's their job, and they're hired by the prison to see if, well, they're hired to see if they can break out of the prison, and if they can, then, they know that things need to be changed, and if they can't, well, then they're stuck in prison, and which is no spoilers, but that may or may not end up happening. Next is Escape Room. Heard mixed reviews on it. Wanted to check it out. Didn't see it in theaters when it came out, so I picked it up. Haven't watched it yet, but do want to check it out. Next is a classic, E.T. I mean, I think everybody's seen E.T. at some point. And if you haven't, what are you doing? But really good classic movie there. Next is Everest, which I have seen, but it's been forever. These people get trapped like on Mount Everest, and things happen obviously because it's Mount Everest. I do remember liking it, but it's been forever since I've seen it, so you can definitely check that one out. Next is a wrestling one. This is the Evolution, the WWE Women's Division, which is basically a documentary on the different women's wrestlers in the WWE. Next are the Expendables movies. So we have Expendables, Expendables 2, and Expendables 3. The first one was my favorite, I think, naturally. But I didn't mind the other two. I know a lot of people hate on some of them, but, I didn't mind them. And they got a lot more big named actors and stuff as the movies went on. So they got, I mean, they're really fun action movies, so check those out if you like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Mickey Rourke's in them, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Bruce Willis, I think, is in some of them, Jason Statham, Ronda Rousey, Harrison Ford's in the third one, so they got all kinds of big names in some of these movies, and I didn't mind them. Next is Extreme Dinosaurs. Haven't seen this. It's from the BBC. It was at Dollar Tree, so I picked it up, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a story of dinosaurs or something. Next is Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Haven't watched this full movie, but do want to check it out because I know it's a good movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I need to watch the full thing. Facing the Giants, good movie there. A football film, basically, and a religious film, but football and religion. Fantastic Four, which wasn't bad. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which was bad. And then, of course, Fant Four Stick. A lot of people hate on this movie, and rightfully so. But to me personally, I really enjoyed it, and I think it was so far the best adaptation of the Fantastic Four. I mean, I've never read the comic book, so I don't know that from experience, but from what I've heard, this one is actually more accurate than the original one, and I know the acting wasn't good and the characters could have been better, but overall I didn't mind this movie, and I know why people hate on it, and that's fine, but I liked it. So, and I don't care, what anyone says. That's my opinion on the movie. Next is the prequels to the Harry Potter films. We have the Fantastic Beasts movies. So we have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. The first one I enjoyed, and the second one not so much, but it's part of the series, and um, I didn't read the book Fantastic Beasts, and I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but I didn't mind the first one. The second one was and I don't know if they're gonna continue with the series like they had planned, but um, the second one could have been better, but it wasn't. And nothing against, Johnny Depp or any of the characters. Just the plot didn't make any sense in the movie. And the final one for part two of my DVD and Blu-ray collection is Fantastic Mr. Fox. Meryl Streep and George Clooney are in it, and it is a great movie. Um, Great movie from Fox, which I guess now is Disney. If you haven't seen this, check it out, because George Clooney voices Mr. Fox. So there you go, guys. That's all I got for part two of my DVD and Blu-ray collection. Stay tuned for the following parts. There's going to be a lot of them, because I have a lot of movies. So yeah, this was part two of my updated DVD and Blu-ray collection. Go check out part one if you haven't already. And make sure you like the video, comment on which ones of these you've seen or haven't seen, and what you thought of some of these movies. And subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Subscribe.